Okay, got a package yesterday from Hayseed Hamfest. Let's see what we got. This is the replacement multi-section cap. Normally I just restuff it, but this particular unit, I'll find it here, and oh, there it is, had this on it, which is only a two-section cap. It didn't fit in there right, didn't look right, so I went ahead and ordered this from Hayseed. They had multi-section caps for the S-40A and B, which were basically the same cap, and it's the same cap that the S-40 had on it. So here's what the cap looks like. That looks pretty good. Nice can that they built. We'll flip the radio over here, back over here temporarily. That goes in here. Obviously that's not going to mount right, but he was kind enough to go ahead and include a twist lock mounting bracket, which essentially goes on like that, and then I'll twist those, and then it'll just sit down there. That is perfect. That's great. It's going to look nice. We'll mount in there properly, and it's the right caps and voltages. So we'll be putting that on there in a little bit, or in one of the next episodes. That I'm really pleased with that. That's going to be great. Alright, we're at the point we're going to try to start working on recapping and shotgunning the resistors. It had been recapped prior to me getting it. All the paper caps have been replaced with these orange Sprague or Sprague orange drops, which are good caps. They're actually a little bit of overkill for a radio like this. This is more for audio files, but they work good, or they work good. This one came from here to here. I've removed it, and I'll show you why in a minute. It's a .047 cap, and the schematic actually calls for a .05, but this is a common replacement. It'll work just fine. Now the reason I removed it is I wanted to check to see if the shielded side of the cap was correct. So I'll show you how I checked that here in a minute. Another thing you notice, I took my blower that I have and I blew out the underside of the chassis. I don't remember if I showed you this in some of the previous videos or the first video, but I know I did point out the nice way they dressed all these wires and everything, but it looked like, you probably couldn't see it on the video, but it looked like it was growing hair. So when I blew it out, all that came off, so it looks nice again. The other thing that I've checked into, this is supposed to be a 12K, I think it was a 5 ohm or a 5 watt resistor, whatever, which I've got some here, so I'll go ahead and replace this. I checked this, and it, you know, it says it's a 15K, but but it came out to, it's like 3.4 or something like that, so we'll replace that. Obviously most of these larger resistors we'll go ahead and replace because they since they're carrying more of a load and everything, they usually go bad. I'll go through and check these and replace whatever I need to replace. But on to this part, I'm going to try something that I haven't tried before, and hopefully we can make it work. We're going to go ahead and record this part here, and then I'll show you what we have going on with the oscilloscope. I'm using a digital oscilloscope anymore. It's a Handtech that I got from Circuit Specialists, and let me do it again. It's a Handtech that I got from Circuit Specialists. So I'll hook the capacitor up there and I'll show you the readings I get on the scope. So, ARG. Wasn't too smart there. So what we're looking for is we want the least amount of RF, which is going to be generated by my body, when I touch it. So right now that's what I'm getting generated there. I'll go ahead and push the auto set here. So there's what we got there. Actually, I'm going to set it down here for a second. Okay, so now I've got the ground connected to the opposite side of where they have their marking, and this should now be connected to the side that is not shielded. And so I got a trace about like that. You can see that the trace is a lot smaller. So that tells me that it's actually marked correctly here. So this is correctly marked. So what I do is I put this one back in. Now the shielded side goes to the ground, so it'll go like this, which is the way it was, or put it back in there. Now I'll go ahead and put some heat shrink tubing on there, and I'll check a few more of these, like this one here, and this one here. I think if the shielding's correct, I think if you watch Mr. Carlson's video, he tested some of these newer orange drops, and they weren't marked correctly. These are Sprague's, and they're slightly older. my guess is the Sprague probably marked them correctly. Some of the cheaper imports and stuff, they didn't. So I'll check a few of them. If they check out right, I'm not going to check any more of them, and I'm not going to heat it up and remove ones like this here that don't have very long leads to put the heat shrink on. The less heat in there, the better. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then when I get done with that, we'll come back and we'll start checking and replacing resistors. Well, I went through and started checking a couple of these others, and my hopes and dreams were quickly dashed. Foil side was marked wrong on these, so I'm going to have to go through and remove them all and test them and make sure they're put in the right direction. This one right here, I don't know if you can see that, but I went to check on it and it looked like it wasn't quite connected, and sure enough it wasn't. And the leads on that are so short I may not be able to reuse that one, but we'll see after I get it out. So I'll go through and check those and everything and get them reattached. You can see there's another one over here that's not put on very well either. I'll go through, get those all reattached, and then we'll come back and start on the resistors. Here we are a few days later. I went ahead and ended up having to take every one of the Spragues out because they were not consistently marked by the manufacturer. That mark must be for something else. So I took them all out, which actually worked out pretty good because I was able to clean some of it up and put some heat shrink tubing on all of them for better safety. And I've just now got all of the Spragues done. I've still got a couple over here that I have to check yet. I'll get to that a little bit later. So what I'm going to move on to now, and then there's a couple ceramic ones in here. I'm going to check and make sure that those are supposed to be ceramics. On the S-40B I did, there weren't any ceramics, so you can see this resistor right here is just totally gone. Don't know what happened there. What I've decided to go ahead and do, since we went this far, I'm going to shotgun all of the carbon resistors for sure in this unit. I don't want to get it back to Arthur and have it work for a couple years and then have one of these resistors go out of tolerance. These resistors aren't the best looking, in the best looking shape. They're, some of them are probably okay, but I'm just not going to go ahead. As far as we went into this, I'm not going to take any chances on that. So the next thing I'm going to do is go through and start shotgunning all these carbon resistors. And then when I get done with that, I'll check on these 4 caps. This one and this one gets replaced. This one is actually in the multi-section one, so that'll get out of there. And so we'll go ahead and do that. Hopefully the next time you see it, the rest of these resistors are done. I usually don't mess with the mica ones unless I have a problem. They're fairly stable most of the time, but they have, some of them do go out. So let me continue on with resistors, and hopefully we'll wrap this up real quick and then start putting everything back. And then in the next video we'll start putting everything back on the top of it, and we can see if we can get any sound out of it. I'm in the process of replacing the 1/2 watt resistors here. You can see I've replaced these resistors in here. But I came across a curious situation. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but there's a 10 ohm resistor here, and it connects up to one of the lugs on this wafer switch. It comes up here and then it connects into this capacitor here. It appears like it was connected there, came up here, connected to capacitor. It's just looped together there, and then it loops back and connects back into that back to that lug. Now I'm not an electrical engineer, but I do know that electricity will take the path of least resistance. So by doing it that way, there's no reason to have that 10 ohm resistor there anyway. And when I check the schematic over here, it shows that it comes out off of pin 5 of that of this tube here, or this tube here, which it does, and then it shows it going into the capacitor, and then it goes from the capacitor to the 10 ohm resistor onto that lug. And for the life of me, I don't know why it was done that way. You know, I don't know if maybe at some point somebody decided that they needed to remove that 10 ohm, but I can't see that, because it looks to me like that resistor was just looped around there. So I'm going to put it back the way the schematic says it is. Replace that and then put it back, and we'll see what happens. I'll just make a note of it, and if for some reason it throws off the adjustment here or somewhere, or short across it again, but it didn't really make a lot of sense to me. I mean, to be honest, it almost looks like it came that way from the factory, but I can't see them doing that. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I've got to order that. I don't have an 18K resistor, so I'm going to have to order that in. So my plan is right now is to finish shotgunning the half-watt resistors, which is all I have left, or order that one, and I still have to order this 2-watt one. I think it's 470 ohms, and I don't have a 470 ohm 2-watt resistor, so I have to order that. So hopefully next time you see this, or have all the resistors shotgunned. Oh, and I've got to order, I don't have a 30 ohm or 30 megafarad MFD 25 watt electrolytic capacitor that goes in here, so I've got to order that too. Got everything but, so I'll get that ordered hopefully next time. I think I said this the last one, or the last portion of this video, but hopefully the next one we'll be reassembling or putting stuff back together on the top. Well, I got most of the shotgunning of the resistors done. I had to order some. I didn't have an 18K half-watt resistor, so I've got that on order. There's a 150 ohm half-watt resistor that goes in here. I did not have that on order. This is supposed to be I believe it's a 470 4-watt resistor. I had to order that. And I do believe that was it. I checked this resistor here, and that's supposed to be a 4-watt resistor. It's a 12K, and I checked that, and it's only about 6K. So I'd ordered this is also a 12K 4-watt resistor in here, so I'm going to replace it with one of these. There was a 35 microfarad 25 volt electrolytic that goes in here, and then there was another resistor that goes in there. I forget what the reading was on it. This is it right here. That goes in here. So I'm going to wait until I get that new electrolytic that goes in here, and take this out, do these, and then do that, make it a little bit easier. But other than that, I've got them all. You can see them down here. I've got them all replaced. Yeah, this was an oddball one that ended up getting replaced with that one right there. As soon as I get the rest in, I'll go ahead and finish shotgunning on that. First thing I have to put back in is the transformer and get that, the power transformer and get that wired up. I still have to do that. There was a ceramic capacitor in here. This one right here. It doesn't call for a ceramic capacitor in that location. It probably works fine. I went ahead and replaced it with an orange Sprague, so it looks a little bit closer to usual, or matches these orange Spragues a little bit. I've also got a ceramic one here. I'm still trying to figure out exactly whether that should be ceramic or not, or check on that, get that replaced. So that's where we are now. I'm going to end this video here. Next time we see this unit, I'll be working on putting everything back on the top. We'll be real close to firing it up and checking out its operation. So for now, this is WD0DXD signing off. That's all, folks. WD0DXD signing off.